Top boxing promoter Frank Warren joins us live this morning. Frank, good morning.
Morning, Jim. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, thank you, Frank. Nice to hear your dulcet tones. We're coming at you to a degree, Frank. Was it ever going to be any other outcome than the one we saw?
No, I said to you when I made the fight, he's never going to be able to outbox Tyson. The only chance he's got of beating Tyson was to knock him out.
I mean, certainly, on the counter argument to that is that people turned up in massive numbers, so the appetite to see Fury fight is there regardless. But in terms of in terms of what it was, in terms of a boxing spectacle, Frank, many are arguing still this morning it was nothing if not predictable, and the very nature of it, Chisora standing there just getting walloped every which way. I mean, the headline in page 54 of the Times this morning: battering of a bloody human punch bag will never be a sport. Is that not right?
I hear that. I read Rick Broadbent. What makes me laugh though, everybody was quite happy though to see Chisora go in. And we're talking of him fighting Wilder in the last couple of months, or fighting Joshua or White. You know, he's ranked number 10. I went through all this with you previously in the rankings. It was the highest available contender we could get to fight him. I never thought he could be, but then again, I don't think anybody can beat Tyson. You know, he did take a shellacking. There's no doubt about that. But that's down to his corner and the referee. They're in there. If they felt he wasn't able, they should have pulled him out.
I think you say, you didn't hear many people complain when the fight was made and it was going to be Chisora, etc. Sure. But the one everybody wanted was AJ against Fury, and you guys couldn't get it on.
No, we could get it on. They didn't want it, Jim. We're just going over old ground here, and you've been told this a million times. I don't know why you keep bringing it up. The fact of the matter is quite simple. Is AJ and his own people, Frank Smith said, after we'd had, 5-6 weeks of negotiations, they couldn't get it on anyway. They said that after we wasted 6 weeks. So please don't say we couldn't do it. They didn't want it, and he was offered 40%.
He's right.
Hang on, he was offered 40% of the takings. He was offered joint promotion, everything he wanted, and it didn't happen. So don't blame me or anyone on our side.
No, he's right. Frank is right. The bigger picture is that I don't think AJ should have ever taken that fight anyway, because he's not ready to fight Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury only wants to fight AJ at this moment in time because Anthony Joshua's coming off the back of 2 defeats. So I think if I was in the Joshua camp, I'd probably steer clear until I had a couple of wins under my belt. The argument, Frank, is that, and the argument's sort of defeated by the nature of the fact that 60,000 fans wanted to come and watch it. You know my view on it. I thought it was a pup of a fight. I didn't want to see it. I didn't like the pricing policy in terms of pay-per-view. I thought you were taking the mickey there by making it at a price point that's so expensive that you're putting on a pup of a fight with an outcome that we already know is going to be the case and charging top money for it. And I don't think that's right. I think it's taking the punters for a bit of a mug.
Well, no one forces anyone to buy tickets, Simon.
No, I know, Frank, but by the same nature, you want to give value. If you can take advantage, we know that there's an appetite.
Hang on, there was value. There was a great fight on the undercard between Daniel Dubois.
Yeah,
he defended his title. There was a really good European title fight against 2 world-ranked boxers on there, and there's some good youngsters. And at the end of the day, no one puts anybody's arm up their back to buy a ticket. All I kept hearing when we made this fight was, it won't sell, it's empty, people going online, it's not done. We'd sold out. I told you. I don't have to make stories up. I told you that we would sell out. I told you that, in my eyes, he will come to fight.
I mean, people are making an analogy.
Listen, I don't think anyone beats Tyson Fury. But you only got to go back a couple of fights, and he was in the fight which everybody's raving and wants to see now with Usyk. Derek was in that fight. He only lost it by 2 rounds.
No, I grant you, Frank.
I'm looking at some of the messages coming in, Simon. There's one in front of you. There's Stevie B. Fury and Frank, I'm afraid, here took the gullible public as mugs. It was one of the worst fights in a long time with only one outcome, and that Chisora's trainer should have pulled him out.
Frank is right. Frank is right that no one forces them to buy anything. No one forces them to do anything.
All what you're saying was said when we announced the fight. End of story. So No, we're not going out selling something that in general the press were against. Yourselves were against it. We didn't go out and force anyone to buy a ticket. They bought tickets because they wanted to go there. There was no booing after the fight. No one. They stayed actually right until the very end to hear all what was going on between Usyk and also with Joyce. Nobody complained about anything.
Well, certainly,
bought a ticket.
Certainly, there's a big appetite for that. And Fury and Usyk engaged ringside afterwards, and that entertained us.
I'm going to write you off. I already done one Ukrainian Klitschko dinner, and I'll do you as well, gappy teeth. You ugly little man. You ugly little man. Let's get it on.
I mean, Frank, I want to go back to the point we made. And look, no one's giving you a kick in here, but you know my views on the fight, and the fight was what it was. The point is that people will go and watch Tyson Fury at this moment in time, lick a stamp. Right? There'll come a point where that if you don't put him into fights that are credible, that will drip away. And
hang on, I've got to tell you that. Right, let's go and look at Tyson's record. He's fought 3 times. He's fought the biggest punching heavyweight in the world. He fought his mandatory defence against Dillian White, which everyone was saying Dillian White should be getting 40% of the gate and so forth. He didn't look like he didn't deserve 40% of the gate based off of his performance. So don't nobody tell me he's had an easy journey. Tyson.
No one said that. No one's saying that.
He went to America to fight Wilder. He went to Germany to fight Klitschko. He's never backed down from anybody. We tried
So come on, Mr. Frank Warren, top promoter. Is Fury Usyk on?
Well, not until it's signed, but we want to make it. It would have been on in December had he not been injured. And his management said last week to the press, we were there and had agreed to fight, but he wasn't going to be ready until late February, March. He completely what had happened, and then we moved on, as we well know, with all the nonsense with AJ. And at the end of the day, I had to get my man out before he fought Usyk, because otherwise he had not had a fight.
So what are we talking about then, Frank? Are you looking at March for Fury against Usyk in London or where?
Well, we'll go where the money is.
Where? The Middle East?
Well, where the money is. Depends. Look, there's 4 titles on the line, Jim. There's 4 titles on the line, and those 4 titles are the equivalent of boxing's Olympic Games, boxing's World Cup. You just come back from Qatar. The reason you went to Qatar because they put up the most money for the event to take place. The Olympics went to Moscow. People went there because they pulled up the most money. Wherever they pull up the most money, that's where this fight's going to go, because these 2 guys, this is a massive fight for them and a massive opportunity for them, and it comes along once in a generation.
This is the point, Frank, right? Because the bottom line is that your argument is well seated, because I think it was a poor fight, but if people want to pay for these fights, if they want to pay 27 quid, which I think is a liberty, is up to them. If 60,000 fans want to go and watch that, it's up to them. But what people want to see happen now is a proper fight. That wasn't a proper fight. That was a tune-up. And if people are stupid enough to want to... No, but it is, Frank. It's a tune-up. And we want to see a proper fight now. And the reasons why you couldn't make one is because Tyson was mucking about for 6 months saying he wasn't going to fight again.
Sorry, I think, I don't know what planet we're all on here. The end of the fight, 2 opponents got into the ring. One was Usyk and the other one was Joyce. Are they not proper fights?
Good, let's make them then. So we can have a fight in March with either Joyce or Usyk.
That's who it'll be.
Okay, Frank, listen. We're always pleased when you join us, Mr. Warren. You know that. And let's hope that from a boxing fan's perspective, this fight comes about. Usyk Fury, where the money is, apparently, probably means it's not going to be here, unfortunately.